My name's Ava. I'm a Scorpio.
No. What's your last name?
Ava Combs.
What's your other last name?
Ava Baron.
Ava Baron Combs? Yes, it's breaking news. Diddy adopted a white child. I want you. Coming to the after party tonight? Yeah.
Good. You're doing so good.
I just want to say,
What's one misconception about you?
There are no misconceptions about me.
You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. Everything ain't for everybody.
They said she was rescued, a lost girl from the streets, given a second chance by one of the biggest names in entertainment. But now, she might be the very person who tears his entire world apart. Ava Baron, the girl Diddy once introduced to millions as his adopted daughter, has resurfaced, and not with a sweet reunion or feel-good update. No, she's allegedly preparing to take the stand in a trial that could destroy everything Diddy built. What started as a bizarre Instagram Live moment has turned into a full-blown courtroom spectacle, and according to insiders, Ava isn't coming quietly. She's coming with receipts. And here's the wildest part. If what people are saying is even half true, this isn't just about Diddy anymore. This could be the match that ignites an entire industry scandal, pulling in celebrity names, secret guest lists, and disturbing questions no one ever thought they'd have to ask. For a while, no one really knew who Ava Baron was, and that was kind of the point. She wasn't a celebrity, not from a famous family, and didn't have a platform of her own. Then, out of nowhere, she appeared next to Diddy during a chaotic Instagram Live. He casually introduced her as his adopted daughter. No warning, no press release. Just a spontaneous moment that left viewers confused, curious, and honestly, a little uncomfortable. Ava sat awkwardly beside him as Diddy coached her on what to say. His son Quincy laughed in the background while Diddy pushed Ava to tell the story of how she supposedly came into their lives. At the time, most people chalked it up to Diddy being eccentric, another headline moment in a long line of unpredictable behavior. But now, as everything unravels, that moment is being rewatched with fresh eyes. And what once seemed strange is starting to look calculated. After that live stream, Ava basically vanished. No birthday posts, no family photos, no behind-the-scenes peeks at her new life as a Combs. Just gone. And as Diddy's legal troubles started piling up, people began to ask a question that was always lingering in the background. Was this adoption even real? Now, years after she quietly disappeared from public view, Ava Baron is back, and this time, she's not standing silently beside Diddy. She's allegedly preparing to take the stand in a case that's already threatening to blow the lid off one of the most powerful families in entertainment. But Ava isn't just showing up to speak. Insiders say she's coming armed with a mountain of evidence. We're talking video footage, private messages, and first-hand accounts that could directly implicate not just Diddy, but also his sons, Justin and Christian Combs. These aren't just loose claims floating around the internet. Sources close to the investigation are hinting that what Ava has could completely dismantle the defense's strategy and expose a pattern of deeply disturbing behavior. For years, Diddy's image has been built on fame, luxury, and influence. But behind the glitz, rumors have swirled about shady parties, about people being silenced, about things that were never supposed to reach the public. And now, if Ava truly knows what people think she does, those whispers could finally turn into explosive courtroom testimony. And that's just the beginning. From the outside, it looked like a heartwarming story, a troubled young girl taken in by a music mogul, given a fresh start, a new life, and a powerful last name. But the deeper you dig, the more this so-called adoption starts to look like a carefully staged illusion. Despite Diddy's very public declaration that he had adopted Ava, there were no legal documents filed. None. Kemsey even confirmed it. No court records. No custody filings. No paperwork to back up the claim. It wasn't just an oversight, it was a flat-out fabrication. A performance dressed up as parenthood. Insiders now say the timing wasn't accidental either. Diddy was under intense public scrutiny at the time, and bringing Ava into the spotlight as his adopted daughter may have been a last-ditch PR move. A way to paint himself as a caring, family-first man. A distraction from the noise building around him. But when the cameras stopped rolling and the Instagram Live ended, Ava didn't get the fairy tale life people assumed she had. She faded into silence, left out of the family narrative as quickly as she'd been forced into it. And now, as the truth begins to unravel, that quiet disappearance is starting to look less like coincidence and more like cover-up. At first, it was just whispers, internet rumors, scattered Reddit threads, and fan speculation. But then, something strange surfaced. A theory so unsettling, people didn't know whether to dismiss it as conspiracy or consider if it might actually be true. Online sleuths began noticing a chilling resemblance between Ava Baron and a missing girl named Ava Grace Baldwin, a child who vanished in 2015 under mysterious circumstances. The facial features, the age, the silence surrounding both girls, it was uncanny. And when they lined up the timelines, the disappearance of one and the sudden emergence of the other started to raise questions no one was prepared for. Was this really the same person? If true, this wouldn't just be a case of Diddy fabricating an adoption. It would suggest something much darker, that Ava wasn't adopted at all, but taken. Let that settle in. And here's the thing, even with all the theories floating around, no one has ever been able to produce legitimate adoption papers. None. That's not just suspicious. That's terrifying. Especially when you consider how publicly Diddy paraded her around during that Instagram Live, coaching her on what to say while she looked visibly confused and uncomfortable. It didn't look like love. It looked like manipulation. And now, with all these new connections coming to light, the question isn't just why Diddy brought Ava into his life. It's how she got there in the first place. If Ava Baron really was just a publicity tool, a name, a face, a narrative, then what exactly did she see while living behind the walls of Diddy's estate? Because according to insiders, it wasn't all glamour and celebrity dinners. It was something far more disturbing. Reports suggest Ava spent more time around the Combs household than anyone realized. Not as a guest, but as a silent observer. And the things she allegedly witnessed are now forming the core of a case that could explode far beyond Diddy himself. One source claims she saw how the parties really worked, who was invited, what happened behind closed doors, and how certain people were treated once the cameras were off. But what's worse? There are rumors she wasn't just nearby. She may have been present for incidents involving Diddy's sons, Justin and Christian. We're talking about behavior that, if proven true, could turn scandal into criminal fallout. And it gets worse. There are whispers that Ava is linked to a trove of digital evidence, texts, videos, voice notes, that back up these allegations. That she didn't just witness moments of discomfort, but actual crimes. What started as a strange story about a celebrity adoption has now become something else entirely. Ava might not just be a witness. She might be the key to everything that comes next. This is the part no one saw coming. As the rumors around Ava's upcoming testimony began to swirl, one name surfaced that flipped the internet upside down: Ashton Kutcher. Yes, that Ashton, the Hollywood star who built an entire public persona around protecting children and fighting trafficking. The same man who co-founded an organization to combat exploitation is now allegedly being tied to Diddy's infamous guest lists by Ava herself. According to insiders, Ava has privately mentioned Kutcher in connection with the same events and secret gatherings that are now under heavy scrutiny. No one is saying he did anything illegal, not yet. But the fact that his name is even being spoken in the same breath as this case has sent shockwaves through Hollywood. How did Ashton end up on these lists? Was he just another celebrity at a lavish party? Or was there more going on behind the scenes? And why is Ava suddenly mentioning him now, at the most critical point in the investigation? Whether it's guilt by association or something more, the fact that Ava reportedly brought him up at all adds an entirely new dimension to the case. Because if someone like Ashton, a public crusader against child exploitation, was anywhere near what's being described, then the rot may go deeper than anyone imagined. This isn't just about Diddy anymore. The walls are cracking, and the spotlight is beginning to swing toward others who were once considered untouchable. For years, people whispered about it, a secret stash of evidence locked away, waiting to detonate. They called it the Doomsday File, a collection of videos, messages, guest lists, recordings, a digital minefield that, if ever released, could rip through some of the biggest names in entertainment. And now, those whispers are getting louder, because rumor has it, Ava Baron might have access to it. Insiders claim Ava isn't just a witness. She could be the gatekeeper to the very evidence Diddy and his team have allegedly tried to bury. Some say it includes footage from inside the parties. Others say there are encrypted messages and names that would make headlines for weeks. And the most chilling part? This file doesn't just implicate Diddy. It potentially touches artists, actors, executives, people who've carefully crafted images of power, charity, and innocence. The theory goes like this. Diddy knew things were spiraling and started collecting leverage, insurance. But somewhere along the way, Ava got access. Maybe she was given the wrong device. Maybe she was trusted too much. Or maybe she was smart enough to start collecting her own receipts the moment things stopped feeling safe. Whatever the case, people now believe Ava's testimony could unlock more than just a few dirty secrets. It could unleash a flood of scandal the entertainment world isn't ready for. Because if the Doomsday File is real and Ava has it, the trial isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning. This isn't just a courtroom battle between a fallen music mogul and a young girl with secrets. It's something bigger. What's really on trial here is the system, the unspoken network of power, money, and silence that protects the elite while everyone else gets erased. Because, let's be honest, Diddy didn't create this system. He just played it well. He built his empire on image, surrounded himself with yes men, and used his fame to deflect questions that should have been asked years ago. But what makes this case different is Ava. Because Ava wasn't supposed to speak. She wasn't supposed to know. And yet, she might be the one person brave enough to crack it wide open. This isn't just about whether Diddy lied. It's about how often fame is used as a shield. It's about celebrity adoptions that turn out to be PR stunts. It's about how children can be brought into these carefully staged public narratives and then discarded when the camera cuts off. No birthday posts. No real care. Just optics. And now, as Ava prepares to speak, if she does, the question becomes, how many others are hiding behind that same shield? How many so-called good guys are only good because they've never been exposed? This trial isn't just about one man. It's about a culture that rewards silence, punishes truth, and treats people, especially vulnerable ones, like disposable props in someone else's success story. Now the cameras are turning. The courtroom is filling. And every headline, every tweet, every whisper in Hollywood seems to be asking the same question. What is Ava Baron going to say? Because if she speaks, if she lays everything out and confirms even a fraction of what's being rumored, it could change everything. Not just for Diddy, not just for his sons, but for every powerful figure who ever assumed their secrets were safe behind mansion gates and NDAs. Ava isn't just a witness anymore. She's become a symbol of the people who weren't supposed to survive, let alone speak out. The awkward girl, once coached on Instagram Live, is now the most dangerous person in the room. And here's the chilling part. Her testimony could trigger a chain reaction. One voice becomes many. One trial becomes a flood. That doomsday file everyone's whispering about? If it exists, and if Ava really has access, this might not be just another celebrity scandal. It could be a cultural reckoning. So now, all eyes are on Ava Baron. What she says, or doesn't say, could shape the future of an entire industry. Because this story, it's not over. Not even close. And you have to wonder if this is what Ava knows, how many other stories are still hiding in the dark.